I was 19, living off cheap coffee, louder dreams, and the kind of blind faith only young can afford. And believe me, I had faith in this man. 7 years worth. 7 years of imagining what it would feel like if he ever looked at me the way I looked at him. 7 years of telling myself to shut up, move on, grow up, but never quite managing any of it. And in 1999, when he finally told me he loved me too, I thought I'd just won the emotional lottery. I didn't know I was actually buying a ticket straight to hell. Back then, I was fresh out of a 5-year relationship, still picking splinters out of my heart. But DN was the childhood dream I'd never put down. He was the crush that survived puberty, boyfriends, and the slow, painful realization that real life doesn't give a damn about teenage fantasies. He was the kid from junior high who made me nervous for no reason. The one I kissed once and then pretended it meant nothing, because I wanted him to make the next move. And he never did. So when I left Alaska for the Pacific Northwest, I told myself the whole thing was over. Too far, too late, too stupid, but the truth is, distance doesn't kill an emotion you've been feeding for years. It just buries it. And one night, when I finally grew the spine to tell him everything, I fully expected him to shut me down. Instead, he pulled the pin on a grenade and called it love. His words weren't casual. They were soft, poetic. The kind of lines you store in your lungs because you want to breathe them forever. I always had a thing for you. I just didn't know how to approach you. I thought you'd reject me. 7 years. 7 damn years of silence, and suddenly he says that. I swear, the world tilted. Never going back to Alaska suddenly sounded like a promise I'd made as a joke. I had a buddy pass flight perk, cheap standby flights. So I started flying back every couple weeks to see him. And the wildest part, everyone around us acted like they'd been waiting for this since the Clinton administration. Oh my God, you two, finally, you guys are perfect together. I always knew this would happen. It felt cheesy, but it also felt right, like the universe finally delivered something it owed me. He proposed after a few months. No hesitation, just a quiet, marry me. While we were watching the northern sky turn violet, I said yes. Of course I said yes. I started packing my entire life, box by box, to move back to Alaska. Everything I owned was shipped up there, right to the house where DN lived with his roommate, BM. We'll get back to him. Trust me. For a few days, I felt like I was floating, engaged, in love, building a future with the one man who had lived rent-free in my heart since I was 12. Reality should have sent me an eviction notice. Days before my final flight, I started feeling sick. Not flu sick, woman sick. I took a pregnancy test alone in my bathroom. When that second line appeared, my knees hit the floor. My first thought wasn't fear, wasn't panic, wasn't even surprised that it was joy. Pure, stupid, glowing joy. I called him anyway, ready to deliver the biggest news of our lives. He answered with the sound of a party behind him. Laughing, music, voices. I told him, I have something to tell you. But he cut me off. First, I have to tell you about this cool artist chick. I froze. I didn't like the tone. Too enthusiastic. Too interested. I swallowed the news. It's fine, I told him. Just don't do anything you'll regret. He asked me to call back later. So I did. Hours later. And someone else answered. DN's here, but he can't come to the phone. My stomach dropped. That instinct. That sharp, animal panic. You don't get that for no reason. By the next morning, I already knew. A part of me already knew. When he finally picked up, his voice wasn't the voice of a fiancé, or a partner, or even a decent human being. "I need to tell you something," he said, and I swear I could feel my soul brace itself. He cheated with the girl from the party, that artist chick, while I was calling him, while I was carrying his baby, while I was planning my entire damn future around him. I hung up, threw up, sat on the floor and cried until my ribs hurt. He didn't call me back. When I called later, all he did was beg for forgiveness. A man who cheats with zero hesitation suddenly wants mercy. "No, I'm coming to get my things," I told him, "and I'm gone after that." I miscarried the pregnancy that week. The universe wasn't subtle. It tore everything away at once. The man, the dream, the baby. I didn't even have the luxury of peace to grieve, because I still had to fly back to Alaska, to the house where he lived, to the place where he broke me. He forgot to pick me up at the airport. Forgot. Like I was a dentist appointment he missed. I sat there in that cold airport until an elderly couple approached me and asked if I was okay. I wasn't, but I nodded anyway. Then I cracked. I cried. Ugly, shaking, humiliating tears. I waved them away because I couldn't even accept kindness without falling apart. I got a cab, made it to his house. BM, the roommate, let me in and was passed out in his room. I sat in the living room, frozen inside and out. I didn't scream, didn't break anything, didn't cause a scene. I played it cool, like none of this had cut me open. Dumb man mistook that for moving on. He invited the girl, the mistress, to come over and meet me, because he told her I was just a friend. Imagine being erased from your own story like that. I cried silently for days. Perfected it. The art of crying without sound. Everyone saw me broken. No one saw the war happening behind my calm face. One day, BM looked at me, really looked, and said, "DN is a total asshole. If I were you, I'd be crying too." It was the first time anyone validated my pain. It didn't fix anything, but it made me feel less alone. Every night, DN brought the mistress over. Every night, I lay on that couch listening to them through the wall. You don't know rage until you've lived that moment. Not anger, not hatred, rage. Cold, focused, surgical. I realized something. If he was selfish enough to throw me away, I could be cold enough to cut him where it hurt. Not loud, not violent, not messy, but precise, sharp, devastating. Revenge didn't start with a plan. It started with a thought. I want him to feel as small as he made me feel. And just like that, part 1 ends. Breakups are one thing, but breakups where betrayal is involved, those hit in slow motion, like someone dropped your entire future down a flight of stairs. For weeks, I was a walking ghost. Not dramatic, just honest. Eating felt optional. Sleeping felt impossible. Thinking was basically a sport I did professionally and stupidly. My friends kept saying things like, "Move on, focus on yourself. You deserve better." Cute, sweet, useless people say time heals all wounds, but they don't tell you that time also keeps replaying. The moment you got stabbed from every angle like it's a director's cut. After the breakup, Jake didn't even try to talk to me. He didn't apologize. He didn't look guilty. He didn't break a sweat. He acted like he had simply outgrown me, like I was a phase he graduated from. Cute again. But then something interesting happened. People talk, and Jake, oh, he was giving them a lot to talk about. Turns out, he wasn't just cheating. He was cheating with pattern, practice, and confidence, like this was his Olympic sport. And I wasn't his first ruin. There were others. Girls who trusted him. Girls he made promises to. Girls he steamrolled emotionally like it was a Tuesday hobby. I wasn't special. I was just next. That realization hurt, but it also did something else. It killed whatever softness I had left for him. Life was coming for me from every direction. My job hours were cut me. Car decided to retire without warning me. Landlord suddenly became allergic to giving extensions and my savings. Yeah, those were basically a joke. It was like the universe said, "Oh, she's heartbroken. Let's see if she can juggle." I cried in the shower more than I want to admit, because showers are where adults go to fall apart privately like respectable citizens. One night, staring at my messy bed and a pile of unopened bills, I whispered, "God, please, just give me one good thing." And life replied, not with something good, but with something useful. Clarity. I couldn't keep living like the victim of Jake's little circus. Something had to change. Not for him, not for revenge, but for me. It started small. I began picking up overtime at work. I started journaling every night. I forced myself to eat actual meals and not just survive on caffeine and spite. Slowly, painfully, stubbornly, I rebuilt myself. I changed my hair, not because I wanted to start fresh, but because I wanted the girl in the mirror to stop reminding me of everything I'd lost. I went back to school part-time. I started saving money like it was a religion. There's a type of growth that happens only when your heart gets smashed beyond repair. You become fearless. You become sharper. You stop begging for love and start building a life that doesn't depend on anyone. People saw the glow up, but nobody saw the nights I went to sleep crying into my pillow like it was a life vest. Growth isn't pretty. It's honest. And I was knee-deep in honesty. Months later, when my life had stabilized, when I was finally breathing again, Jake reappeared. Not physically. Please. The universe knows I wasn't emotionally stable enough for that. He reappeared through a little thing called gossip. Turns out, Mr. Untouchable was cracking. His job was slipping. His reputation wasn't as shiny as knew. Love was apparently more chaotic than romantic, and people were starting to notice the red flags I once ignored. Life has a funny way of circling back. I wasn't the one ruining him. He was ruining himself. But here's where people get it twisted. I didn't smile at his downfall. I didn't cheer. I didn't clap. I just sat there thinking, good. Maybe now he'll learn something. Spoiler, he never learned anything. But I did. And that's what mattered. It was a Tuesday. Not a dramatic day. Not a holiday. Just a regular Tuesday where I was eating cold leftover pasta and pretending it was meal prepping. My phone buzzed. A name I hadn't seen in years popped up like a ghost who forgot he was dead. Jake. For a second, my heart did that stupid jump. The one old wounds do when their ghosts say hello. But the feeling wasn't love. Wasn't longing. It was numb. I opened the message. Hey, can we talk? I need your help. I almost laughed. Actually, no, almost. I laughed so hard I choked on pasta and had to gulp water like a dehydrated camel. Jake, needing my help. The same guy who treated me like a disposable accessory, who traded me in like a clearance item, who acted like breaking me was just growing up. Sure, let's talk. Before I replied, I did a little digging. Old connections, mutual friends, people who owed me favors. And oh, the universe was serving tea hotter than the surface of the sun. Jake was sinking, fast, loud, and messy. His new relationship crumbled. Turns out cheating doesn't magically stop with the next one. His job gone. He got fired for being unprofessional. Translation: he talked too much and worked too little. His money evaporated. He'd been trying to live like a millionaire on a wallet that was basically on life support. His reputation shredded. Apparently, people don't like liars, manipulators, or men who flirt with her. And now, he had the audacity to message me like we were old buddies catching up over iced coffee. I typed slowly. Sure. What's going on? Did I care? No. But I wanted to hear the desperation in his voice. He replied instantly, because pathetic men suddenly develop Olympic-level speed. When they need something. It's a long story. Can we meet? Meet? As in face-to-face? Cute. No, just tell me. I'm busy. Watching Netflix and eating pasta counts as busy. When the person texting you is your past mistake manifested. He sent a long paragraph, the digital equivalent of a sob story with a violin playing in the background. He'd lost everything, needed someone to believe in him, someone to talk to, someone who once cared. When I tell you I rolled my eyes so hard I nearly saw my brain. But then he dropped this line. And this is where the air in the room changed. I know you wouldn't let me fall. Funny, because that is exactly what he did to me. I stared at his message, not with hatred, not with love, not even with anger, just clarity. The kind of clarity people only get after surviving hell and coming back with better lighting. I realized something important. I didn't want revenge out of rage anymore. I wanted revenge out of justice. Revenge isn't about hurting someone back. It's about making sure they finally face what they ran from. And Jake had run long enough. I didn't block him, didn't yell, didn't insult him. No, I did something far more powerful. I let him talk. People destroy themselves faster when you hand them the microphone. He started opening up about every mistake, every lie, every financial disaster. He told me everything, and I listened. Calm, quiet, almost peaceful. Because I wasn't the broken girl anymore. I was the ending he earned. A month later, an opportunity fell into my lap like destiny was bored and decided to be dramatic. A friend of mine, who worked in the same industry Jake was trying to get back into, mentioned that Jake had applied for a position at their company. A good one. A stable one that could help him rebuild. But the hiring manager? She was careful. She checked references. She asked around. And one day, she asked me, "Do you know a Jacob ____? He listed you as someone who could speak about his character. He listed me, the woman he lied to, cheated on, tossed aside, humiliated. He listed me." I didn't breathe for a full 3 seconds. Then I said, "Yes, I know him very well." The manager asked, "What kind of person is he?" I didn't lie. I didn't exaggerate. I didn't curse him. I told the truth. Cold, clean, surgical truth. He is unreliable. He manipulates. He lies easily. He doesn't take responsibility. And he hurts people without thinking twice. Silence. Then she said, "Thank you. That tells me everything I needed." And just like that, the job vanished for him. The chance evaporated. The comeback died before it even started. Not because I was cruel, but because I was honest. Honesty can be the sharpest form of revenge when someone built their entire life on lies. Jake messaged me again later. "I didn't get the job. I don't know what's happening. Everything is falling apart. Why does life hate me?" I typed slowly, calmly, like someone who finally understood her power. Life doesn't hate you, Jake. It's just returning everything you gave. He didn't reply. He didn't need to. The silence itself was closure. I didn't win because I ruined him. I won because I healed, because I built a life he can't enter, touch, or damage ever again. Revenge wasn't one moment. It wasn't one decision. It wasn't one conversation. Revenge was becoming someone he could never break twice. Someone he could never reach again. Someone he will remember for the rest of his life. Not as a mistake he made, but as the consequence he earned. And that is the real ending.